Hello everyone and welcome to the Commexis Cast, all the news you need to know from our inbox to yours. Today we're talking about Google updating their acceptable ads policy. Hello everyone, I'm Matthew McGroarty, the videographer and podcaster here at Commexis, and today I'm joined by the lead strategist at Commexis, Philip Brooks.
Hello everyone.
So Google historically has had a decent amount of editorial control over what they consider to be an acceptable ad on their platform. And I think they've definitely exerted that and put a lot of restrictions in place in that regard. So Philip, would you mind going a little bit into that policy?
So when we say editorially speaking, obviously they're in charge of setting the editorial standards for the types of ads that they use. But another piece of that is they actually have excluded certain industries from being able to advertise on their platforms, notably fireworks, things like that, firearms, for example. There were, I think, for a while there was mail enhancement, a lot of the things that you would get see show up in your spam emails, that kind of stuff. So, they've already sort of established those guidelines that there are certain things they simply don't want to be advertised on their platform. And in recent weeks, they had made the decision to remove some of the addiction treatment centers, because I guess there's a lot of, there's not a lot of oversight as to what these things do, and there is considerable arguments one way or the other as to how effective they can be, whether or not you get your money's worth from them. Some of them are faith-based, some of them are not. There's a lot, there's a lot of kind of gray area with these, and I think that at some point they just decided it was safer not to include them in their in their stable of ads available industries, but it seems they've reversed that decision recently. So
Google spoke to Reuters on Monday. They spoke to Paresh Dave, who wrote this piece on Reuters, and they said that they were going to be resuming accepting these ads starting in July. And one of the reasons for them stopping the ads, as you mentioned, was a little bit of that gray area, but also a lot of scammers taking advantage of these vulnerable people trying to get treatment and ended up being defrauded or something like that in the process. So now treatment centers will be able to run these ads, but they have to have them vetted by the Portland, Oregon firm LegitScript. So LegitScript and Google are going to be working together on this. So these specifically affect in-person facilities, crisis hotlines, and support groups at the moment. So LegitScript's going to be evaluating treatment providers beginning on Monday on 15 criteria, which include criminal background checks and license and insurance verification. They must also provide, quote, written policies and procedures demonstrating a commitment to best practices, effective recovery, and continuous improvement. And that is according to LegitScript, which will charge $995 up front and then $1,995 annually for vetting. That's not exactly pocket change. Though depending on how big your addiction center is and how many ads you're running, it could be considered just a drop.
I mean, if you're part of a larger network of doctors or things, so I mean, it does sort of immediately price out some of these lower end things where you have to show some sort of commitment to being held to these standards. But part of me wonders from a business standpoint, who are LegitScript and why did they get this contract, or why were they part of this partnership? Do they have something? Because I'm saying this rhetorically because I genuinely don't know. What is it about them that allows them to be the arbiter of whether or not these are worthy of advertising dollars? So I'm just curious if they have some sort of history with this business model, or if this is something that that they've stepped into and simply just were the ones that were lucky enough to be chosen by Google. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just curious.
I'm not sure, but what I'll do is in the podcast blog.
I think I would enjoy the blogcast better.
Yeah. I will make sure that I put a little blurb on LegitScript.
Because answer my questions for me so that it's more important for them.
No problem, Phil. I think that is a really good question as to obviously, why they were chosen. And I mean, when I think about it, I think, well, Google chose them, so they're probably, perfectly fine. but it is an important thing to look at. One of the interesting stats from this Reuters article, so when Google originally suspended alcohol and drug treatment advertising on search pages and a bunch of third-party apps, and when I say a bunch, I mean millions of them, they did that in September, and that was a week after The Verge had posted a lengthy story about some scams that were going on, and then afterwards they began globally doing this in January. So the move cut off at least $78 million annually worth of advertising in the U.S. alone, according to research firm Kantar Media. So cutting this, was very clearly a massive amount of money.
Yeah, that's a huge revenue stream to just sever immediately. But Google has shown that, in the past that if they have some sort of moral objection to something, they're not going to sit back and let that continue to happen. They're going to act in such a way that they feel is the morally correct way to do. But it's kind of funny, the things that they choose to make a stand on and the things that they don't. But it's good to at least see that they do have some sort of moral compass, regardless of other lapses in the past. Clearly they have a vision and they want to stick to it going forward. So.
Yeah, and I think we saw that with the restrictions and bannings of things like the Bitcoin advertisements just a few months ago on many platforms. Obviously we're talking about Google in specific, where they said, there's just a lot of people scamming, so there's no reason not to cut it.
I don't know if you're like me, but if you watched Silicon Valley, which is in my opinion one of the best shows on television, especially if you're in kind of a tech industry, you'll see a lot of things that really stick out that you'll be like, oh, I know that guy. But there's this week's episode. There's an in running joke about the volatility about Bitcoin, which is pretty hilarious, and it's kind of like a callback joke, which I definitely would recommend watching.
Very good. I'll have to check it out. I've seen ads for it, but I haven't gotten a chance to take a peek because I'm one of those millennials that doesn't watch TV, unfortunately.
It's not TV, Matt. It's HBO.
Oh, you're right. Oof. You caught me, Phil. You caught me. Well, thank everybody for tuning in to today's episode of the Commexis Cast. Check us out tomorrow for more of the latest trending news. Have a great day.